Oh wait, there's more lights over here. Look at all those city lights and the different perspective of the moon that we'll never get to see from Earth. So I thought that was very interesting. This is a one-of-one photo. Nothing like we've really ever seen before. All right, next up, we have Carol's Crater. That is incredible. Imagine being able to see that in person. That is just so cool. Holy moly, I didn't even see those to begin with. Today, we are going to be doing a deep dive into the Artemis II files. They just released all 12,000 of them to the public. These photos are like nothing we've ever seen before, and I've had such a fun time editing them. Today's video, we're going to do a deep dive into what I have discovered from editing these photos. I've got the Artemis files right here. This is where like kind of my main station on where I've been dumping the files, dumping the photos, I guess, categorizing my images. And then this is the finals folder that we are going to get into today. So let's just do a flip through on the website. This is the Gateway to Astronaut Photography of Earth. Incredible stuff here. We'll just click one at random. Open it up. Just detail for days. I mean, so much to discover here. So much to unwrap. But I've edited around 2,000 to 3,000 of these photos so far. And they just keep getting better and better. So we're going to do a deep dive into what I have discovered, because I've just discovered some pretty amazing things using this data. I've been able to create high-resolution images, close-up images of certain craters that we've never seen before, new named craters like Carol's Crater, videos of Earth going behind the moon, videos of them leaving Earth, their approach to the moon, all sorts of things we're going to get to in today's video. So let's start off with the Artemis Kenny collab. Okay, we got the Artemis and Kenny collab image loaded up here. Now, to be clear, I did not take this image. Everything you see obviously has been taken in space by the Artemis II crew, Victor, Christina, Jeremy, and Reed. So let's take a look at this photo. This is a one-of-one photo. Nothing like we've really ever seen before. If we take a look at it, we'll just rotate it a bit so it's easier to differentiate the areas. If you look down this line that I'm drawing right here with my mouse, if you look down this line, this is the near far side boundary, right? So anything on the right we see from Earth, and anything on the left we will never be able to see from Earth. So if we zoom in here, obviously you can see some familiar features that we see from Earth. Like here's the Aristarchus crater, big bright crater on the left side of the moon as viewed from Earth. But yeah, a lot of stuff happening in this photo. The detail is unbelievable. It's a lot easier when you don't have an atmosphere to deal with. They don't have any air to deal with, so they just shoot at the moon and get all the detail that's there. One of my favorite sections here is this crater right here, I think is the reason for all of this blue here. Just smashed in right there. Eject rays coming, stretching, and dividing this crater right here in half. It's just so cool to look at. If we come down here a little bit, here's Carol's Crater. I always know it because it's next to this triangle of craters. So here's Carol's Crater right there, shining big and bright. Huge impact crater near the south pole of the moon here. Incredible detail by the Artemis mission that they've been able to get. So the way they shot this image and the way I was able to put it together is they took panels like I do here on Earth. They zoomed into the moon. They zoomed into the moon, imaged a chunk about this big, and then just did it again. Imaged a chunk, imaged a chunk, and just did that over and over and over again until you imaged the entire moon. And then someone like me, came along, put all those panels of the moon together, stitched them together, and created this. We'll rotate it here. Oh my goodness. And then I was able to create this super high resolution image from the zoomed in panels that the crew took. But I was able to get the color by stacking a handful of images, just the full disk of the moon here. I was able to stack a couple of those and then boost the saturation, bring the color out. And this is all natural color, by the way. It's just hidden minerals. So we got titanium in the blue, rust, all the orange is like rust. Super cool stuff. So that is image number one. Let's move on to image number two. All right, image number two is what I like to call the Artemis full moon. So as this was 3 or 4 days after they left Earth and before they were going to slingshot around the backside of the moon, they snapped It was a little bit more, but I only stacked the best ones, so it was like 15 images I stacked here. I wasn't really going for the detail on this image. I was going mainly for the color and then obviously the full moon look. But as they were going around the backside of the moon, they got a full moon like we've never seen before. A full moon that we'll never get from Earth. You can actually see about 80% of this image is stuff we can see from Earth. The line, the near side, far side boundary is right where I'm drawing my mouse right here. So we can see about 80% of this image from Earth. It's just this 20% here because they went out in space and around the moon. They were to get this full moon image like we've never seen before. A lot of cool stuff in this image, not for detail, mainly just for show, but it is a really cool, different perspective of the moon that we'll never get to see from Earth. So I thought that was very interesting. All right, on to the next. All right, next up, we have Carol's Crater. Probably one of the most popular stories of the entire mission. While they were up there, they discovered some new craters that hadn't have been named yet. And this shining bright one you can see in the middle was named after Commander Reed Wiseman's wife, who has sadly passed away. And they got to name this crater after her, which was a team effort. The Artemis crew, amazing team, they came together and named this unnamed crater after her, which is just amazing. The way I find it is with these 3 craters here, and then just it's hard to miss. It's a really bright and vibrant crater. One thing that's awesome about this crater, and the fact that they picked this one, it makes it 10 times better, is it's on the near side, far side boundary. So sometimes during the moon's orbit around the Earth, some of the months you can see it from Earth, which is really cool. So amazing crater. Let's go over it really quick. So that was Carol's Crater. A lot of meaning behind that image there. Whoever took that did a very good job. Okay. Now that the pictures are done, we're getting into the videos. So we have about 4 or 5 videos here to go over. First video we're going to start with is the trip video. Now, at the start of this video, it looks very similar. It looks just like the moon we see here on Earth, right? But when I press play, but this was about 19 separate images that they took throughout the days of their journey from the front side of the moon to the back side. And then you play them together and you can see the journey they've taken just right around the backside, and then Earth disappears. And another thing you can pick up by looking at this time lapse is the terminator line. So what phase of the moon it is. So right now you can see the terminator line kind of just ends right at this crater here. But then as it goes on, if you follow that crater, more and more light is getting revealed. And now look, the terminator line's here. So it's just so much to discover in only 19 images. So this is definitely one of my favorite videos from the trip. Okay, on to the next one. We have, what do we got? So on to the next one. This is Earthrise. This is after they went around the far side of the moon on their way back to Earth. Okay, so this video is really cool. What you can see here is you can see just a little bit of Earth peeking out, and the thing it's peeking out of is the moon. So this is Earth rising from the moon. Like, let's just play it real quick. I'll show you. Holy moly. That is incredible. Imagine being able to see that in person. That is just so cool. You can see the craters and the mountains and the hills and the valleys of the moon. Oh, it's so cool. It's hard to describe this stuff. It really is. You can see the craters of the moon on the Earth. Oh my goodness. I also have another version of it right here. This is the replay version, but with the moon, or with the Earth stabilized, so you can kind of see the moon. Just look at that. And I made this video by stacking 30 images from this phase to no moon being visible and the Earth being completely risen. So for that, I stacked 30 images, resized them all, aligned them perfectly to where you can get the final animation of the Earth rising behind the moon. So super cool right there. And here's the grand finale. I mean, this is probably the most famous image from the mission, right? This is nighttime on Earth. So this little shadow right here, or this not shadow, this dark streak is daytime. So that's on the back side of Earth, daytime, and then this image we can see here is night. And the reason we can see it is because it was shot with a super high exposure on the camera that they brought, and it was a full moon for us on Earth. So all of the light, all the full moon light being hit at Earth and then reflected back at the sensor of the camera. So, like I said, probably one of the most famous images from the Artemis mission, and whoever set this camera up set it up in intervals. So they shot an image. I'm going to take a guess here, but every 10 seconds, it took an image of Earth. And if you play them back in order, you get this. A super smooth animation of them leaving planet Earth. So the Earth moving is not the only exciting thing in this image. If you look up here, play it again, but if you look up here, you can actively see auroras moving at the north and south pole of the video. We'll go back to the start here and play it. You can see auroras moving at the poles of the Earth. Look at that. And if you zoom in over on the right of the image, you can make out thunderstorms and lightning. And look here, city lights along the African, I think that's, no, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can see lights, civilization lights on the surface of the Earth. And then, like I said, the lightning, and probably the coolest thing. Oh, wait, there's more lights over here. Look at all those city lights in the... Holy moly, I didn't even see those to begin with. Look at that. Look at all the city lights over in the Americas. I think we got South America. I think this is South America over here. I could be wrong. But all the city lights over here as well, along with the thunderstorms over here. And probably the greatest thing of all time in this image is the satellites orbiting Earth. If you take a look at the left and the right of this image, play it for you. Look at that. Satellites orbiting Earth. Just civilization floating above in zero gravity. Satellites orbiting our planet. Being illuminated by sunlight, right? Because the sun is on the other side of this, on the disk of the Earth here. So this is probably the best discovery I have seen from the Artemis mission. You have a video of them leaving Earth, auroras at the north and south poles of the images, and then satellites, and then a super thin line of just our atmosphere holding us all together with all the air that we breathe, everything. So everything holding us together is that super thin line, that ghostly line, our atmosphere. It's just so cool. And then satellites trailing along the edge of that atmosphere. So that pretty much wraps up the video. I just wanted to summarize kind of what I was able to discover by stacking thousands of those images, creating videos, boosting color, showing you things you've never seen before. If you want to review all of the images, you can go to the NASA Gateway to Astronaut Photography of Earth website and view all of the images. If you just take a scroll through here, I mean, look at Earth. You just click this. This is Earth from Artemis. Just look at that. So cool. And there's 12,000 of images just like these at your fingertips. So if you want to check out those out, go to the Gateway of Astronaut Photography of Earth to check those out. And I think that's it. Let me know below what final image or edit that I was able to do you thought was your favorite. Let me know below in the comments. But yeah, some amazing stuff by the Artemis crew. And until Artemis 3, I will see you next time.